Welcome to a club for people who love good movies. Use the links in the description to navigate the list of films quickly.
Forrest Gump. Slow-witted Forrest Gump has never thought of himself as disadvantaged, and thanks to his supportive mother, he leads anything but a restrained life. Whether dominating on the gridiron as a collegiate football star, fighting in the Vietnam, or captaining a shrimp boat, Forrest inspires people with his childlike optimism. But one person Forrest cares about most, maybe the most difficult to save, his childhood love, the sweet but troubled Jenny. Fight Club. A depressed man, Edward Norton, suffering from insomnia, meets a strange soul salesman named Tyler Durden, Brad Pitt, and soon finds himself living in his squalid house after his perfect apartment is destroyed. The two bored men form an underground club with strict rules and fight other men who are fed up with their mundane lives. Their perfect partnership thrives when Marla, Helena Bonham Carter, a fellow support group crasher, attracts Tyler's attention.
Green Mile. Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest. When ghostly pirate Davy Jones comes to collect a blue debt, Captain Jack Sparrow must find a way to avoid his fate, lest his soul be damned for all time. Nevertheless, the wily ghost manages to interrupt the wedding plans of Jack's friends Will Turner and Elizabeth Swann.
Back to the Future. In this 1980s sci-fi classic, small-town California teen Marty McFly is thrown back into the 50s when an experiment by his eccentric scientist friend Doc Brown goes awry. Traveling through time in a modified DeLorean car, Marty encounters a young version of his parents and must make sure that they fall in love or he will cease to exist. Even more dauntingly, Marty has to return to his own time and save the life of Doc Brown.
Green Book. Tony Leap, a bouncer in 1962, is hired to drive pianist Don Shirley on a tour through the Deep South, in the days when African Americans forced to find alternate accommodations and services due to segregation laws below the Mason-Dixon line.
Shutter Island. The implausible escape of a brilliant murderess brings U.S. Marshal Teddy Daniels, Leonardo DiCaprio, and his new partner Mark Ruffalo to Acacia Cliff Hospital, a fortress-like insane asylum located on a remote, windswept island. The woman appears to have vanished from a locked room, and there are hints of terrible deeds committed within the hospital walls. As the investigation deepens, Teddy realizes he will have to confront his own dark fears if he hopes to make it off the island alive.
Hacksaw Ridge. Lion King. This Disney animated feature follows the adventures of the young lion Simba, the heir of his father, Mufasa. Simba's wicked uncle, Scar, plots to usurp Mufasa's throne by luring father and son into a stampede of wild beasts. But Simba escapes, and only Mufasa is killed. Simba returns as an adult to take back his homeland from Scar with the help of his friends Timon and Pumbaa.
Titanic. James Cameron's Titanic is an epic, action-packed romance set against the ill-fated maiden voyage of the RMS Titanic, the pride and joy of the White Star Line, and at the time the largest moving object ever built. She was the most luxurious liner of her era, the ship of dreams, which ultimately carried over 1,500 people to their death in the ice-cold waters of the North Atlantic in the early hours of 15th of April in 1912. Wall-E. Wall-E is the last robot left on an Earth that has been overrun with garbage, and all humans have fled to outer space. For 700 years he has continued to try and clean up the mess, but has developed some rather interesting human-like qualities. When a ship arrives with a sleek new type of robot, Wall-E thinks he's finally found a friend and stows away on the ship when it leaves.
The Help. In 1916's Mississippi, Thousand Associated girl Skeeter returned from college with dreams of being a writer. She turns her small town on its ear by choosing to interview the black women who have spent their lives taking care of prominent white families. Only Abilene, the housekeeper of Skeeter's best friend, will talk at first. But as the pair continue the collaboration, more women decide to come forward, and it's turned out they have quite a lot to say.
Coco. Despite his family birth and generation all bent on music, Miguel dreams of becoming an accomplished musician like his idol, Ernesto de la Cruz. Desperate to prove his talent, Miguel finds himself in the stunning and colorful land of the dead, following a mysterious chain of events.
Snatch. Illegal boxing promoter Turkish convinces gangster Bricktop to offer bets on bare-knuckle boxer Mickey as his bookie business. When Mickey doesn't throw his first fight as agreed, and if you read, Bricktop demands another match. Meanwhile, gangster Frankie Four Fingers comes to place a bet for a friend with Bricktop's bookies as multiple criminals converge on a stolen diamond that Frankie has come to London to sell.
Django Unchained. 2 years before the Civil War, Django, a slave, finds himself accompanying an unscrupulous German bounty hunter named Dr. King Schultz on a mission to capture the vicious Brittle brothers. Their mission successful, Schultz frees Django, and together they hunt the South's most wanted criminals. Their travels take them to the infamous plantation of shady Calvin Candy, where Django's long-lost wife is still a slave.
Gladiator. Commodus takes power and strips rank from Maximus, one of the favorite generals of his predecessor and father, Emperor Marcus Aurelius, the great stoical philosopher. Maximus is then relegated to find their death in the gladiator arenas.
The Dark Knight. When the help of allies Lieutenant Jim Gordon and Harvey Dent, Batman has been able to keep it tight, like the crime in Gotham City, but when a vile young criminal calling himself the Joker suddenly throws the town into chaos, the caped crusader begins to tread a fine line between heroism and vigilantism. Hachi, A Dog's Tale. In Bedridge, Professor Parker Wilson finds an abandoned dog at the train station and takes it home with an intention of returning the animal to its owner. He finds that the dog is an Akita and names it Hachiko. However, nobody claims the dog, so his family decides to keep Hachi.
Pulp Fiction. Jules Winfield and Vincent Vega are two hitmen who are out to retrieve a suitcase stolen from their employer, mob boss Marcellus Wallace. Wallace has also asked Vincent to take his wife Mia out a few days later when Wallace himself will be out of town. But College is an antique boxer who is paid by Wallace to lose his next fight. The lives of these seemingly unrelated people are woven together, comprising of a series of funny, bizarre, and uncalled for incidents.
Tell us in the comments which movies you think should be added to the list and share any other thoughts or suggestions you might have. Thanks and see you soon!